Good day, it's JJ MMA. Today we are going to be breaking down the UFC Macau card that just took place this morning. Well, this morning for me, past night for some of you guys over on the other side of the world. Starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. And this was a very good card, lots of finishes. Very impressive. I missed some of the early prelims, but I did watch them back. We're going to start with the first early prelim of the night. Lookboonmee versus Jacqueline Amorim. Dude, Amorim, if she pulls it off again, she's got 100% finish rate throughout her career, not just in the UFC. She probably deserves a ranked opponent at this point. Nasty armbar submission. Lookboonmee, she would benefit off of like a women's atomweight division. She would benefit off the 105 division. She's too small. Yeah, and she didn't look very good in this fight. I feel like Jacqueline Amorim just kind of like had her way with her, even though Lookboonmee did land the only significant strikes of the fight. Funny enough, but Jacqueline Amorim with the nasty armbar submission. Nice job by her. She's good, man. She deserves a ranked opponent. We move on to the next one. Kangjie versus Rodrigo Vera. I thought Kangjie was going to be better, man. I thought he was going to be sharper. You know, he trains with CKB. He did land some nice shots at some times, and he didn't look that bad until he did. And Rodrigo Vera caught him with a really nice, I think it was a right hand, and sat him down. And then he got back up. I'm pretty sure knocked him down again. I'm pretty sure there was 2 knockdowns in this one. Was there? Because I mean, it says like it's gonna say 1 down here, but I'm pretty sure there was 2. It was a nasty finishing sequence. Rodrigo Vera pounded him out for the TKO, had him stiffened like a board. Rodrigo Vera is a super good prospect, and I thought, like, my original thought was, oh, Rodrigo Vera is gonna put the grappling on him and win this by decision. That was my original thought, but then I kind of bought into the CKB hype of Kangjie, and I saw his finishes, and I was like, oh, this guy's good. And by the way, I did terrible on picks this card. I didn't do very good on, I think I was even on picks. It's not, I mean, which is not terrible. I was either even or like one loss to a losing record on this card with picks. But Rodrigo Vera with a nasty finish, great knockout, way to pound him out for the TKO, got on him, finished him with ground shots. And yeah, I mean, he's got really solid grappling too. He's a super fluid grappler. I'm gonna be hyped to see where he goes in this division. I'm gonna be hyped to see who he faces, and I think he beats a lot of guys in the featherweight division already. But you know, give him a few tests first, and then maybe boost him up the rankings. Maybe then you give him an old unk like Josh Emmett, or maybe give him the Obama test or something. As in David Onama, by the way. But yeah, there you go. Rodrigo Vera gets it done. We got this one wrong. We move on to the next fight on this card, and it's it's supposed to be Angela Hill versus Zhang. So I guess we'll just look it up. So Angela. So we'll just go Angela Hill versus Xiong and Nan. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can see it on Tapology, but yeah, so Angela Hill versus Zhang Jingnan. It's not going to show you guys the stats, but we'll just have a little visual for you guys here. Angela Hill, you know, she did great work. She absolutely dominated Jingnan Zhang. For some reason, dude, 1FC fighters are never good in the UFC. For whatever reason, I don't know why that is. We saw our first example with Ben Askren, who was absolutely horrible in the UFC. Did not submit Robbie Lawler with that bulldog choke, but regardless, Angela Hill did really good, kind of pieced up Jingnan Zhang. Really impressive performance from Angela Hill. Bro, this is the year of the aunties, and the unks. She gets it done for the aunties. She's 41, but still going strong. I mean, I was wondering why Jingnan Zhang wasn't more than a minus 180 favorite. Because I thought that she was very good. Like, the tape that I watched on Jingnan Zhang, I think she was a double champ over at 1FC. So she was very good, and she looked very good at 1FC. However, man, she looked terrible in this performance. Like, she had very low output. I know there's like this thing on ESPN where it says she didn't throw a single strike, but she did. She threw like 4 strikes in the first minute of the fight. But Angela Hill with probably the clearest 30-27 of the night, besides Jake Matthews. We'll get to that one in a second. But, you know, Angela Hill dominated Jingnan Zhang, pieced her up, not much to say. No wonder she's got, like, I think the second most significant strikes in UFC history. But I mean, that's a crazy stat in its own. So the year of the aunties continues. She gets it done, climbs to 19-16. Kind of a nasty record, but it's all right. She's a staple of the women's strawweight division, still ranked in the Big 26, and she proves why. There you go. We got this one wrong again. We move on to the next fight up the card. And that's going to be Ray Tsuruya versus Luis Gurule. Ray Tsuruya looks really good on the ground. He looks super fluid, definitely ranked material. Nasty takedown entries, and a nasty sub on Luis Gurule. So, I mean, look, this guy, he looks like a super good grappler. Looks like he has some improved striking. Didn't look like a fish out of water on the feet with Luis Gurule. I thought, like, Luis Gurule's pressure was going to be a lot for him on the feet, but Ray Tsuruya did a good job at kind of nullifying that. And I know Luis Gurule only threw 2 strikes and landed one of them, but regardless, Ray Tsuruya looks like ranked material, and I know Luis Gurule took this on a week's notice, and he fought 2 weeks ago. However, Luis Gurule he was in better shape that way, and he waited in for this fight. They were at bantamweight, so that gives a little bit of a disadvantage to Luis Gurule. Ray Tsuruya being the bigger fighter. He's looked improved in frame too. He didn't look this big when he fought Josh Van, and I think the year layoff has definitely done well to him. He looked very good in this fight, but we'll see what he does against higher competition. He looks more filled out at bantamweight. He could stay there, but I think he's kind of a small bantamweight, so he should probably stay at flyweight. But definitely ranked material, to be honest, at flyweight. And a fighter to watch out for sure is Ray Tsuruya. It shows how good Josh Van is. It proves to be a great win for Joshua Van. And I'm very impressed by this performance by Ray Tsuruya. I picked him to get this one done. I'm pretty sure I said by submission. Yeah, I said Ray Tsuruya would get this one done by submission in round 1. No, I said round 2, but he got it done late round 1. Great performance by Ray Tsuruya. And yeah, I mean, he shows that he belongs in the UFC against high-level competition like Luis Gurule. I know Luis Gurule has a kind of, iffy record in the UFC. However, he's not that bad, and he just beat up on Daniel Perez, which is a decent win, for Luis Gurule. But yeah, that's what I think about this fight. Ray Tsuruya, great performance. He gets it done. Yeah, we move on to the next fight up the card. Aoriqileng, I learned how to say his name after the last video and the catastrophes of my pronunciations of names in the last video. I figured it out. Aoriqileng versus Cody Haddon, and Cody Haddon proved to be what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to win this one by decision. He's kind of a decisionator. He's not the best finisher in the world. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. 5 wins by knockout. Never mind, man. Never mind. He's finished 7 out of his 9 he's finished 7 out of his 9 wins. So I thought he was a decisionator, but I'm wrong. He was good, and he looked really good in this fight. Nasty grappling performance by him. He said in his post-fight interview that Aoriqileng is a scary guy, and he was having like nightmares of getting knocked out by him. And Aoriqileng's got power, but Cody Haddon nullified that real quick. Aoriqileng is a decent opponent. Got some decent striking on the feet, does Aoriqileng. But he completely nullified that with his grappling, dominated the first round. And then the second round, he does his best bedtime MMA impression. And he knees to the body. He utilizes the knees to the thigh, knees to the body, and TKOs Aoriqileng with the knee to the body. He was beating up the body of Aoriqileng, and really good work by beating up the body by Cody Haddon. A nasty knee to the body dropped Aoriqileng, and Cody Haddon pounds him out for the TKO and gets this one done. Really impressive performance by him. Round 1, I'll show you the numbers for round 1. I'm pretty sure he had like 4 minutes of control time round 1. Absolutely dominated in the grappling. Dominated with the striking. Most of these strikes are ground strikes. I know this is one knockdown down here in round 1, but that didn't happen. That was in round 2 when he got the knockdown, and that knockdown was what finished the fight. That was the knee to the body, and it dropped Aoriqileng against the fence. And yeah, that's how Cody Haddon finished the fight. Super impressive performance by him. I forget what sub attempt Aoriqileng threw up. I was half asleep watching this fight. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch all of it on stream. So yeah, I mean, this is like right after Cody Haddon got the finish, I got on stream. So this is the last fight that I missed, but I ended up watching. I saw the finish. I saw the end sequence, but I didn't see Aoriqileng's sub attempt. But yeah, I know they were on the ground before that because Cody Haddon was dominating him on the grappling. Great performance from Cody Haddon. I think that you give him a fight up the division. I'm gonna say in my fights to make video, I'll give Cody Haddon a fight. I'm yet to determine what it's gonna be, but there's a lot of prospects at bantamweight, and Cody Haddon's one of them, and he's proven that he's elite competition for the rest of the prospects and the higher ranked guys at bantamweight. There you go. That's my thoughts on this fight. We move on to the next fight up the card. Ding Meng versus Jose Henrique. I thought Ding Meng won this fight. I wouldn't say robbery, but at the same time, man, really weird scorecards. There was a judge that scored this 30-27 for Jose Henrique. And my first thought is, how do you actually score every round for Jose Henrique? I don't get it. Round 1 seemed pretty clear for Ding Meng. I know Jose Henrique hit him with a good 1-2. Here, I'll switch on to round 1. Jose Henrique hit him with a good 1-2 at the start of the round, and it kind of phased Ding Meng a little bit. But then after that, Ding Meng was doing really good work with the leg kicks. He was tapping him up, outstruck him 24-20 on significant strikes, hit at a higher percentage clip this round. Seemed to be pressuring forward more. Round 2, the judges scored it. Most of the judges scored it for Jose Henrique, but I completely disagree with that. I completely and utterly disagree with that. I think that round 2 was clearer for Ding Meng than round 1. I think that Ding Meng was definitely doing the better work. He had more damage on the face of Jose Henrique. But round 3, I'd say, was the clearest round for anybody, and that was for Jose Henrique. So, I wouldn't say robbery because round 1 was kind of close, even though both of the competent judges gave it to Ding Meng. Regardless, Jose Henrique started to really dominate in round 3, damaged Ding Meng's face badly, hit him with a nasty spinning elbow that clipped him and cut his temple open, cut the side of his head open on his temple. And so I think rounds 1 and 2 pretty clear in my eyes for Ding Meng, but Jose Henrique dominated round 3. So, at the end of the fight, he definitely had more damage on the face of Ding Meng, but at the end of the day, fights are scored on rounds, and the rounds are scored on damage, and Ding Meng did more damage in the first 2. However, Jose Henrique dominated in the third. So, I can kind of see how the judges thought Jose Henrique won the fight, but at the same time, I think rounds 1 and 2 are pretty clear for Ding Meng. Ding Meng's good, man. Ding Meng is actually very good. He's going tit for tat with a guy who's a lot bigger than him, with the reach, with the length. Jose Henrique's skinny, but this guy, my first thought when predicting this fight was, this is a guy who looks like he's going to get chinned. Based off of the build and based off of his head shape for some reason, I thought this guy could definitely get chinned, and I thought that Ding Meng was going to be able to find the chin, and Ding Meng has some serious steam in his hands. So I thought he was going to find the chin of Jose Henrique, and he didn't, because Jose Henrique was super tough. I thought that Jose Henrique would drop Ding Meng at least one time in the fight, and he didn't, because Ding Meng has a questionable chin. He did get stunned in a few times. I think he got stunned like twice in the fight, but Ding Meng's recovery time is really nice. It's like a Charles Oliveira where he does get dropped, but then he recovers really quick, or like a Volk where he gets dropped and then recovers super quick. So Ding Meng's good. Give him some more chances in the UFC. Jose Henrique's pretty decent as well, but I'd be worried about him against other welterweight competition. But there you go. I think Ding Meng won, but I'm not going to – I'll count it as right. I'll be Lucas Tracy. I'll count it as right. We got this pick right on the card, even though the judges scored it in the way of Jose Henrique. There you go. That's my thoughts on this one. We move on to the next fight up the card. The featured prelim, which shouldn't have been a featured prelim. It should have been Cody Haddon getting the spotlight here. And Yi Shockley, I don't know what the hell I was thinking picking Yi Shockley. I must be absolutely stupid, guys. Ridicule me all you want in the comments. Yi Shockley looks like an absolute amateur out there against Luis Felipe Dias. He was landing some leg kicks, that's all. all Yi Shockley could do was land leg kicks. The moment, he never shot in this fight, never shot for a takedown. If he would have shot for a takedown, he probably would have got countered or completely stuffed and shucked off by Luis Felipe Dias. Luis Felipe Dias just completely mogged him out there in every way possible with the build. Obviously some moggery going on here with the builds. And Yi Shockley does actually height mog. He's got 2 inches of height on him, but Luis Felipe Dias maximized his 2-inch reach advantage. He hit him with nasty shots. He hit him with a nasty right hand that dropped him, and then he actually dropped him twice in this fight. So it should be more than one knockdown here. But Luis Felipe Dias dropped Yishak Lee twice in this fight. Dropped him once. Yishak Lee recovered well. Landed some little tappy leg kicks on him. And then Luis Felipe Dias blitzes in with the right hand, drops him again. And then he pounds him out on the ground and absolutely stiffens Yishak Lee like a board. And yeah, nasty work from Luis Felipe Dias. Great knockout by him. I think he could, he's a middleweight, man. I forgot he's a middleweight. I think he could give problems to some lower caliber guys in the middleweight division. Luis Felipe Dias, he looks good. He had a great win on Contender Series. I didn't think this guy was going to be that good considering like he has been chinny in some of his regional fights. However, he looked really good in this one. And I know Yishak Lee is pretty low-level competition. He should not be in the UFC. He doesn't belong in the UFC. But, Luis Felipe Dias, he has the good wrestling. He has good jiu-jitsu as well. He didn't need to use it in this fight, though. So, good work from Luis Felipe Dias. Great win from him. I'm very impressed. We move on to the main card. And I got a little bit to say about this one, bro. First off, round one went to Sumudaerji. Sumudaerji did the better work in round one. He tapped him up with the strikes. Alex Perez was kind of just running forward and blitzing him and winging overhands at range. So I don't know how people were scoring round one to Alex Perez. That's interesting. And, I guess did he attempt a guillotine? I think, Alex Perez attempted a weak guillotine, and Sumudaerji just passed a half guard real quick and popped his head out at the end of the round. And he got a takedown of his own at the end of the round. That's where Alex Perez tried to jump a guillotine. That was like the weakest guillotine I've ever seen. Sumudaerji just tapped him up on the feet, did the better work, landed some 1-2s, popped the jab, landed some nice little tappy leg kicks. Sumudaerji won round one. It was a close round one, though. Could have went either way. Round two, though, is at the start of the round, I think like 15 seconds into the round, Sumudaerji does this Conor McGregor impression, the Tibetan McGregor, and then he hits him with a 3-2, and the 2 down the middle, 2 down the pipe, it's his left hand because he's a southpaw, knocks down Alex Perez bad, and honestly, if Sumudaerji would have teed off, he would have finished the fight. Alex Perez was rocked badly, and he was on the ground. Sumudaerji was trying too hard to pick his shots. He was sitting in the half guard of Perez, and he was like trying to too hard to just posture up and look for the opening. But if he would have teed off and made it look like an aggressive finish, he would have finished the fight because Alex Perez was badly hurt. Sumudaerji was just kind of playing around on the ground with him. He's playing with his food. And then Alex Perez ends up getting up, and they break the clinch, and Sumudaerji catches Alex Perez on the cup with a low kick, and Alex Perez starts hurling in a bucket. Second time this year we've seen it. First time with Cody Garbrandt. This time with Alex Perez. And Alex Perez is hurling in a bucket. I think kind of an acting job, to be honest. My opinion is that was an acting job because like Michael Bisping, he pointed it out. And I'm not saying I put all my trust with Michael Bisping. But you could also kind of see it on the camera that he wasn't like completely hurling. He was kind of making these like, bleh, bleh, into the bucket. And he was really just spitting out mucus and saliva. So he wasn't completely barfing and hurling up like puke because of the low kick, and it didn't really catch him that good. So it caught him on like the tip of the cup. Sumudaerji, he didn't really throw a super hard kick. Sumudaerji did eye poke him in round one, but at the same time, completely accidental low kick, and I don't think that deserved a disqualification. Like, I feel like it's a different situation when, like, Ciryl Gane is, like, pointing his fingers out at you and, like, jabbing you with his fingers extended like these. I think that's a little different, and I think maybe that deserves a disqualification, or hammer fists to the back of the head. Like kicking John Jones in the nuts 6 seconds into the fights. I think that, and don't get me started on John Jones as well. He does this type of shit, too. But, I feel like that behavior should be much more punished in MMA, whereas Sumudaerji just catching a kick on the tip of the cup, and Alex Perez like completely hurling for it when Alex Perez was almost finished at the start of the round. Sumudaerji was very clearly winning that round. It could have been a 10-8 if Sumudaerji had more time on the feet to finish. And I think eventually in the fight, Sumudaerji would have found the finish. Sumudaerji either would have found the finish or just tapped him up to a decision, kind of like he did against Jesus Aguilar in his last fight. Regardless, I think Alex Perez, I don't want to be this type of guy like the fake Gane fans when Aspinall got eye poked. I don't want to sound like that, but I feel like Alex Perez was looking for a way out. You know, like it's different when Tom Aspinall gets a bloody nose in a cage fight. Like big surprise, man. You know, like Gon's got a good jab and he's just peppering him with a jab. And Gon was winning the round against Aspinall. But then, on the other hand, you have Sumudaerji, like, almost colding Alex Perez with a nasty 3-2, finding the shots, hurting him on the ground a little bit, and making him scramble up to his feet, and then catching him with a low kick as they were breaking, you know, completely accidental. I don't like. I think that a guy like Gon's behavior should just be so much more punished than Sumudaerji's. So whoever's saying this guy should have been DQ'd, you don't know ball. Yeah, run this back. I'm gonna put this in my next fights to make video. I think you should run this back. But yeah, there you go. Sumudaerji won this fight, even though he didn't. Rebook it. Get this boy his ranked opportunity again, and he'll win it. He will win it again. I think he'll probably win it by decision. Or knock him out, or just finish Alex Perez. I don't know. We're not going to make early predictions. There we go. We move on to the next fight up the card. Jake Matthews versus Carlston Harris. Now, this was the most, as a Jake Matthews enjoyer myself, this was a very frustrating fight to watch. And not for the reason that Jake Matthews wasn't winning or Carlston Harris was, you know, completely terrible. That was actually part of it. Carlston Harris looked absolutely horrible. He looked like an amateur on the feet. And Jake Matthews could have got the finish so many times. He could have got it in round 1. There was moments in round 2 where he could have just stepped to the side on an arm triangle and finished him. Jake Matthews has really good jiu-jitsu. And, you know, Carlston Harris hasn't never been submitted before, so he was doing a good job defending. There was moments where Jake Matthews could have got submissions in round 2. He could have finished him on the feet in round 3, or in round 1, in round 3 as well. We'll talk about that in a second. But in round 1, he was hitting him with nasty shots. If he would have teed off and made it look like a finishing sequence, he would have found Carlston Harris's chin. This guy's been knocked out 4 times before in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of those might have been on the regional scene, but you know, if he would have teed off on Carlston Harris and made it look like a finishing sequence in round 1. He would have got the finish. He would have got the finish, and the ref would have stepped in. Could have been a standing TKO. Could have just colded Carlston Harris. Jake Matthews has power on the feet, man. I know he doesn't get that many knockout finishes, but Jake Matthews has some serious power on the feet, and he could have maximized that as early as round 1. But he didn't choose to do that, man, and it was so frustrating. But that wasn't as frustrating. 10-8 round, by the way, for round 1. Probably 10-8 round. Round 2. I'd say just normal 10-9 round. Some domination on the ground here. Good work on the ground here from Jake Matthews, but also kind of a boring round. Round 3, though, this is the round that really frustrated the shit out of me, man. Because Jake Matthews, early in the round, I think like 30 seconds in the round, drops Carlston Harris with a big 2, starts teeing off on the ground. And what does he do for the rest of it? Just make a wild guess. What does Jake Matthews do for the rest of the fight? I'll answer your question. He lays in the half guard of Carlston Harris. Not trying to do anything, not trying to advance position, just laying there and cruising to a decision. You can't do, like, if you have that low level of an opponent and you have him finished, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if he's even low level. If you have an opponent that, like, clinging on to life, you know, on the monitor, on the heart rate monitor, you need to finish that guy. And you need to finish that guy, and you need to pound off on him. And Michael Bisping was saying that on commentary as well. Dude, Bisping's kind of grown on me, man. Bisping's commentary is actually kind of grown on me. I like him better than DC and Rogan combined now. You know what I mean? And kind of Anik, because Anik's just like an NPC. But I don't know. Anik's kind of a voice I tune out. But anyways, Michael Bisping was kind of pointing out. He was like, he's saying that, you know, pound off on him, bro. Posture up and land ground and pound shots. When you have an opponent that, like, clinging on to life by a string, if you have an opponent that close to being finished, you have to go all out and pound him out. He was up 2 rounds very clearly anyways, so if he risks it, who cares? Carlston Harris is not a jiu-jitsu master. And I know he's never been submitted before. I know he has like 6 submission wins or whatever. Whoa, I mean, Jake Matthews is good. He's good. Oh my gosh, Jake Matthews is good. What a stutter. Jake Matthews is good defensively at jiu-jitsu as well, man. So I know he got submitted by Neil Magny, so I'm kind of contradicting myself here. But Jake Matthews should have went all out. Only 8 significant strikes, and I think he only landed like probably 3 significant strikes after knocking out Carlston Harris badly. Or knocking down Carlston Harris badly. Super frustrating performance from Jake Matthews. I think it's time that you feed him to a welterweight prospect. It's time that you do it. Jake Matthews, like Neil Magny, is kind of like the life cycle of welterweight, and it's time, man. I like Jake Matthews. After this performance, man, I don't know, man. You gotta feed him to somebody who's gonna you gotta feed him to a young, hungry prospect now. It's the life cycle of Jake Matthews. And yeah, there you go. That's my opinion on this fight. We got it right anyways. We move on to the next fight of the card. Kai Asakura. He finally gets the finish, man. I had to check my mic for a second. He finally gets a finish. He finally gets a win in the UFC. And we are so happy to see this. Kai Asakura gets it done. And what a performance by him. He was looking really sharp on the feet, really light. Really light on the feet. And, he looked great in this fight. He was darting back and forth, he was popping his leg kick, popping the jab, and then all of a sudden he just blitzes in, big combo. Kai Asakura, he's filled out at bantamweight. He should have been at bantamweight the whole time. I think the only reason he was really at flyweight to start off in the UFC was because they needed a fight for Pantoja at UFC 310 because Bilal pulled out of the Shavkat fight. So, really good combo by Kai Asakura as he enters, drops Cameron Smotherman with a nasty straight right hand on the button, and then Cameron Smotherman starts to kind of submissively back up against the fence, and he kind of lets Kai Asakura start teeing off on him, doesn't really fire back too much, maybe fires back a 1-2, but all of it misses because Kai Asakura is, Cameron Smotherman's surviving to try to weather the storm of Kai Asakura, and then Kai Asakura hits him with, he's throwing everything, and then the one punch that he lands clean on Cameron Smotherman's chin, bang, left hook over the top, absolutely colds Cameron Smotherman. Kai Asakura puts out Cameron Smotherman Golden Freddy style against the fence, and it was nasty, man. It was like an Ilya type of finish. Kai Asakura is a great boxer. He got fluked by Tim Elliott. He won round 1 against Tim Elliott, but Tim Elliott's got good jiu-jitsu. Kai Asakura is a guy who's a good grappler. He's got good wrestling. He's able to wrestle you up. Throw a nice double leg like Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott was getting down to Steve Erceg a lot, and Steve Erceg's a good defensive grappler himself. And Steve Erceg was working up to the feet all the time. Don't get me wrong, but a guy who can get you down and hold you down. Like a Tim Elliott, like a Alexandre Pantoja, even though they're much different fighters, trust me, in skill level. Those guys are going to give Kai Asakura problems, but at bantamweight, where he's more filled out, he will do better. And he did great in this fight against Cameron Smotherman, found the finish early, nasty finish. He was emotional on the mic, well-deserved win for him. It's great to see from Kai Asakura. I'm so happy for Kai Asakura. Great win for him. Kai Asakura Army, we rise up. We are another prospect at bantamweight. This bantamweight division is stacked, man. Stacked. Outside the rankings, stacked. Inside the rankings, stacked. But now all we need to do is get Raul Rosas Jr.'s ugly ass and Chito Vera out of there. Nothing against Chito Vera. He's just zero output and throws no volume. But anyways, great prospects in the bantamweight division. Kai Asakura adds onto that list. We are, dude, we are so back. We get a win in the UFC. We're 1-2 in the UFC now. But yeah, anyways, we move on to the featured main card bout. And that's Sergey Pavlovich versus Thaleson Teixeira. This was so expected. I can't believe that there was a shadow of doubt in my mind that Sergey Pavlovich would knock out Thaleson Teixeira in round 1. Sergey Pavlovich has his aggression back. He has his swagger back, man. His last knockout finish was in 2023, and I think he did it against Tuivasa. I'm pretty sure that was his last knockout finish. It was either Tuivasa or Blades. I don't remember which one. Obviously, Luke Darbo, Curtis Blades. But, just a great aggressive performance. Clubs Thaleson Teixeira with a right hand, and it landed with Sergey Pavlovich's forearm. Dude, I was wrong for underrating Sergey Pavlovich's power because he knocked down Thaleson Teixeira bad with an overhand with his forearm. It landed with, sorry, you guys can't see. It landed with this part of his forearm, man. So super impressive stuff from Sergey Pavlovich on the feet. He just pretty much just blitzed him, ran at Thaleson Teixeira, and found the chin of him. Thaleson Teixeira is the taller guy, so that's kind of what you have to do against the taller guys. Sergey Pavlovich was able to find Thaleson Teixeira's shin super easily and knocks him down. And then once he's on the ground, he gets Thaleson Teixeira against the fence, lands some nice shots on him. And then when he's on the ground, he just absolutely pounds out Thaleson Teixeira, finds his chin, Aspinall against Blade style, just lays on top of him and finds the chin and absolutely stiffens Teixeira like a board for a second. And yeah, Teixeira Teixeira kind of got right back up after and recovered, but he was jelly-like. He had to be held up by, I think Mark Goddard was the ref. But yeah, great stuff from Sergey Pavlovich. I can't believe I had a shadow of doubt in my mind that Sergey Pavlovich would get this one done. I think the next fight for him, I'll save that. I'll save that for my fights to make video. I will save that for my fights to make video. Check out that. It's going to be out on the channel either today or tomorrow. We got some content, boys. We have some content and we're ready to make some more content. We're ready to get back in the flow. I know I only dropped a few videos this week, but we are so back. We got the content. And yeah, I mean, this is a super good card. As you can see, there's like, I think only 2 decisions on the card so far. Let's see. Decision. No contest. That sucks. Let's see. Any other decision? Decision. There was only 3 decisions on the card total. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. And Sergey Pavlovich gets this one done by a nasty KO. Absolutely cold Teixeira Teixeira. Yeah, there you go. We move on to the next fight up the card. Zhang Mingyang versus, oh my gosh, Zhang Mingyang versus Alonzo Menifield. Dude, Mingyang army, bro. We were supposed to get this one done. The Mingyang madness, not mad. The Mingyang madness was supposed to be here, and it wasn't. Alonzo Menifield just flukes a KO against Zhang Mingyang. Pulled him into a brawl, and I thought that was going to be where Zhang Mingyang thrived. I thought that Zhang Mingyang was going to be better composed, be more defensively responsible, kind of like Olberg Max his way to a victory here, and I thought he was going to be able to weather the storm of Alonzo Menifield. You know, Alonzo Menifield always comes out swinging and always comes out very aggressively, and I expected that in this fight, but I didn't know that Zhang Mingyang wasn't going to be able to deal with the pressure. To start off the fight, you know, Alonzo Menifield's already winging overhands. Zhang Mingyang's hitting him with the better shots to start out, staying light on his feet, leg kicking. Alonzo Menifield leg kick maxed his way to kind of a clinch situation as well. Alonzo Menifield tried to wrestle a little bit, and Zhang Mingyang did a good job digging the underhook, stuffing the takedowns of Alonzo Menifield. Least you can do, because Alonzo Menifield's not the greatest grappler, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, regardless, man, once they exited that clinch, when Alonzo Menifield was in the pocket with Zhang Mingyang, he was dominating Zhang Mingyang. He knocked him down with the big overhand at one point, and then he started to just pour it on. You know, he was throwing big combos. They were throwing back and forth. Zhang Mingyang, I think, almost stumbled Alonzo Menifield at one point in time, but then Alonzo Menifield just comes back with a kill or be killed mentality, starts just swinging overhand, swinging for the fences, and knocks down Zhang Mingyang again. And then this time he jumps on the back, and then he starts pounding him out, and then he pounds him out badly, and Mark Goddard has to step in. Alonzo Menifield gets the TKO in front of Zhang Mingyang's home crowd. And it's sad to see, man, because at one point, bro, after the Anthony Smith fight, maybe Anthony Smith was right about this was the guy he would have beat 4 years ago. You know, man, maybe on paper, Zhang Mingyang was the guy that I beat 5 years ago. But now I just don't got it anymore. This is Mr. Anthony on paper, Mr. Excuses Smith. Dude, maybe he would have beat him on paper 5 years ago, because Zhang Mingyang, he was a prospect after he beat Brenson Ribeiro, after he beat Anthony Smith, and he's got his way into the rankings with beating number 15 ranked Anthony Smith. Then he got leg kick TKO'd by Johnny Walker, and he looked good in the performance as well. Hit Johnny Walker with a nasty elbow in the pocket, but then Johnny Walker's nasty calf kicks just got to be too much for Zhang Mingyang, and that's how he got finished. In this fight, it was just a brawl that Alonzo Menifield ended up winning, and yeah, nasty ground and pound shots, absolutely stiffened Zhang Mingyang like a board, had him stumbled, you know, had him bleeding badly from the face, the nose, under the eye, he had a bad cut. Nasty work from Alonzo Menifield. Now it's time for the cycle at light heavyweight to begin again, and it's time for Alonzo Menifield to be chinned. This is what always happens. Alonzo Menifield, you know, it's like he'll just run at you sometimes, and then you'll chin him, or he'll run at you and he chins you. So it's kind of like a one way or the other. Alonzo Menifield's either finish or be finished. I know he's won some decisions, but at the same time, Alonzo Menifield's kind of just got like that dog mentality where he just runs at you like that. But I'd say, or never mind, I'm going to give Alonzo Menifield a matchup in my next video. And yeah, Alonzo Menifield gets it done. Great performance. This was fight at night, I'm pretty sure. Well deserved. And yeah, we move on to the main event. Xiong versus Figueiredo. Dude, Figgy was low-key winning round one. Figgy low-key had in round one, dude. Nah, never mind. I think Song won round one. It was a very close round one though. So round one, they're pretty much even on strikes, but Song Yadong probably did the better work on the strikes. Figgy, as always, very trigger shy, not throwing like anything. He landed 100% of his significant strikes, which shows like, dude, Figgy doesn't throw anything, and that's another reason why I think Figgy's so washed. It's because he doesn't throw any volume, man. Like he used to just be like kind of counter striking, but at the same time, like the second a guy would move in or try to make a move on him, or try to throw a leg kick, he'd attack him with a swarm of combos and power punches. That was Figgy back in the day, man. That was Figgy when he was in the quadrilogy with Moreno. So I don't know what's happened since then. Actually, I do know what's happened since then. He's just too old, man. He beat Garbrandt and Chito Vera at bantamweight, but ever since then, like the Jan performance, the Yadong performance, the Umar Sandhagen, he just looks off. Montel Jackson, even though he won that fight, he looks off in every single performance nowadays. Super trigger shy, not really throwing anything. Yes, he has his moments. Yes, he'll take you down sometimes. That's what he tried in round two. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, he looks just super trigger shy. And I mean, he does land some shots sometimes, and then you're like, ooh, because Deiveson Figueiredo does still have that power, even though he's 38 years old at bantamweight, which is a huge disadvantage for the lighter weight classes. But we're gonna get to round two. Round two, Song Yadong was starting to actually piece him up, doing the better work. I think he only landed 3 significant strikes in the whole round. It went 4 minutes 42 seconds in the round, and then after Song Yadong landed a nasty light kick on him, that actually kind of swept Figueiredo off his feet for a second. Figueiredo shot a really good takedown, got him down, but Song Yadong jumps a guillotine, and a nasty guillotine at that. Gets the guard wrapped, and immediately Figueiredo taps the second he feels the pressure of the guillotine. Figueiredo wasn't tapping back in the day. Figueiredo was low-key dogging that out back in the day, but regardless, a nasty guillotine win from Song Yadong. Locks it up super well, wraps the guard around Figueiredo's back. Figueiredo's washed, man, and it's sad to see. Figueiredo, Prime Figgy was something else. The way that he had Benavidez screaming was crazy. Both fights he absolutely dominated Benavidez, who was a good fighter even in his worst days. Poor Magnoli. Had a good quadrilogy with Moreno. Very close fights with Moreno. Very competitive with Moreno. I know he took 1 win off of him. Had the draw with Moreno. Got finished by Moreno by submission, and that was the only other time that Figueiredo got finished by submission was against Brandon Moreno in that second fight. And Yadong finished him by a nasty guillotine submission, and Song Yadong's last finish by submission was in, I think, 2017 on his debut. So that's ball knowledge right there. So you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got some ball knowledge right there. I've been watching Song Yadong, bro. I'm a Song Yadong enjoyer. Yadong is up next. Yadong absolutely stiffened Figueiredo with the guillotine. And Yadong has not been stiffened. So Prime Figgy would have stiffened Yadong. Just letting y'all know. Prime Figgy would have absolutely stiffened Yadong out cold, out hard. Never mind. So great performance by Song Yadong. Completely outstriked him, out tit for tatted him on the feet. The second Figueiredo got a takedown. Song Yadong jumps a nasty guillotine. Great win by him. Song Yadong is really just laying in the top 5, and he deserves to be there. He's super skilled. There are some guys in the bantamweight division lower, like Peyton Talbot, who I think would beat Song Yadong. But at the same time, he definitely deserves to be in that top 5, top 6, top 7 range. Don't even say the number in the comments. But yeah, Song Yadong beats Deiveson Figueiredo. Great win from him here in front of his home crowd. I'll tell you, hey, we're gonna have the video of the fights to make out on the channel. I'm pretty sure Song Yadong got a performance bonus. Really? Do we think Song Yadong should win a performance bonus? I mean, he beat Washed Figgy. Still a decent win though. Who else could you could have gave a performance bonus to? Sumudaerji would have had it, bro. Sumudaerji would have had that performance bonus. Low key, you could have give Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon or Rodrigo Vera should have low-key got a performance bonus. Jacqueline Amorim with a nasty submission as well. I just messed up everything. I don't know what happened. Gotta reload. Yeah, I know it's been doing that to me. Yeah, Song Yadong gets it done against Figueiredo. He has the performance bonus. I don't know if it's very deserved, though. He also kind of looked trigger shy in this matchup, too, really picking his shots, whereas he was more volume heavy against O'Malley. He overall looked better against O'Malley. So, yeah, I mean, good win by Song Yadong. There you go. Great card. I'd say one of the best cards of the year. A lot of finishes. I think only like 3 decisions on this card. And then there was the no contest, so that sucks. But that should be rebooked, and in our hearts, we all know Sumudaerji won that. Yeah, there you go. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Instagram at the JJMMA official. Follow me on Twitter at the JJMMA. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.